Understanding bedroom requests. Why your husband wants you to try new things. Written and copyright by A. Castor. Chapter 5. Communication and Consent. Introduction. Effective communication and mutual consent are the cornerstones of a healthy and satisfying sexual relationship. Openly discussing sexual desires, setting boundaries, and ensuring mutual consent can prevent misunderstandings and foster a deeper connection between partners. This chapter explores strategies for discussing sexual desires, establishing consent, respecting boundaries, and how to say no without causing hurt feelings. By mastering these skills, couples can enhance their intimacy and ensure a respectful and fulfilling relationship. Effective communication strategies for discussing sexual desires. Creating a safe space. Comfort and openness. Ensure both partners feel safe and comfortable discussing their desires without fear of judgment or ridicule. Timing and setting. Choose an appropriate time and place for these conversations, where both partners can focus and engage without distractions. Using I statements. Express personal feelings. Frame desires and concerns using I statements to express personal feelings and experiences rather than blaming or criticizing. Example: I feel excited when we try new things in the bedroom, instead of, you never want to do anything different. Active listening. Show understanding. Practice active listening by giving full attention, nodding, and providing verbal acknowledgments. Reflect and clarify. Reflect back what your partner says and ask clarifying questions to ensure understanding. Being honest and clear. Direct communication. Be honest and clear about your desires and boundaries. Avoid vague language or hinting. Specific requests. Clearly state specific requests or fantasies to avoid misunderstandings. Regular check-ins. Ongoing dialogue. Make discussing sexual desires and boundaries a regular part of your relationship, not just a one-time conversation. Adapt and adjust. Regularly check in with each other to adapt and adjust to changing desires and boundaries. Establishing mutual consent and respecting boundaries. Understanding consent. Mutual agreement. Consent is a mutual agreement to engage in specific activities, given freely and enthusiastically by both partners. Ongoing process. Consent is an ongoing process that can be withdrawn at any time. Both partners must feel comfortable expressing their boundaries. Clear communication of boundaries. Express limits. Clearly communicate your boundaries and listen to your partner's boundaries. Respect limits. Always respect the boundaries set by your partner without pressure or coercion. Using safe words. Establish safe words. Agree on safe words that can be used to pause or stop an activity if one partner feels uncomfortable. Immediate respect. Immediately respect the use of safe words without questioning or pressuring. Non-verbal cues. Read body language. Pay attention to nonverbal cues such as body language and facial expressions that may indicate discomfort. Check in. Regularly check in with your partner during activities to ensure they are still comfortable and consenting. Techniques for saying no without hurting feelings. Gentle refusal. Be kind and compassionate. Use kind and compassionate language to refuse a request. Acknowledge your partner's desires while expressing your boundaries. Example: I understand you want to try this, but I'm not comfortable with it right now. Provide alternatives. Suggest alternatives. Offer alternative activities or compromises that you are comfortable with. Example: I'm not comfortable with that, but how about we try this instead? Explain your feelings. Share reasons. Explain your feelings and reasons for saying no to help your partner understand your perspective. Example: I'm not comfortable with that because it makes me feel vulnerable. Reaffirm affection. Express love and affection. Reaffirm your love and affection for your partner to ensure they understand that your refusal is not a rejection of them. Example: I love you and enjoy our time together, but I'm not comfortable with that specific activity. Practice empathy. Understand their perspective. Show empathy by acknowledging your partner's feelings and desires while standing firm on your boundaries. Example: I know this is something you're interested in, and I appreciate you sharing it with me, but I'm not ready for that. Conclusion. Mastering effective communication and establishing mutual consent are essential for a healthy and fulfilling sexual relationship. By discussing desires openly, respecting boundaries, and learning how to say no with kindness, couples can build a strong foundation of trust and intimacy. This chapter provides practical strategies and insights to help partners navigate their sexual relationship with respect, understanding, and mutual satisfaction. Creating a safe space, comfort, and openness. Ensuring both partners feel safe and comfortable discussing their desires without fear of judgment or ridicule is crucial for a healthy sexual relationship. Here's how you can achieve this.
Non-judgmental attitude.
Why it matters. People often have fears about being judged for their sexual desires or fantasies. Ensuring that both partners approach these conversations with an open mind and without preconceived notions helps create a space where both feel safe to express themselves. How to implement. When your partner shares something intimate, respond with curiosity rather than criticism. Use phrases like, "That's interesting, tell me more," or, "I'd like to understand what makes this appealing to you." Active listening. Why it matters. Feeling heard is fundamental to feeling safe. Active listening involves truly paying attention to what your partner is saying without planning your response while they are speaking. How to implement. Show you're listening by nodding, making eye contact, and occasionally summarizing or paraphrasing what your partner has said to ensure you've understood correctly. For example, so you're saying that you find the idea of exciting because. Emotional support. Why it matters. Emotional safety is built on knowing that your partner supports you and cares about your feelings. How to implement. Offer reassurance and empathy. If your partner shares a fantasy that surprises you, acknowledge their courage in sharing. Say things like, "I appreciate you trusting me with this," or, "It's important to me that we explore what makes us both happy." Creating boundaries. Why it matters. Boundaries ensure that both partners feel comfortable and respected. Knowing that it's okay to say no or to change your mind helps maintain trust and safety. How to implement. Discuss and agree on boundaries. Establish safe words if exploring new or intense activities, and ensure both partners feel empowered to use them without hesitation. Timing and setting. Choosing the right time and place for these conversations is equally important. A thoughtful approach ensures that both partners can focus and engage without distractions, making the discussion more effective and meaningful. Private and comfortable environment. Why it matters. Privacy ensures that the conversation remains intimate and free from interruptions, which can help both partners feel more at ease. How to implement. Select a location where you won't be disturbed, such as your bedroom or a quiet living room. Ensure the space is comfortable. Maybe dim the lights or play some soft music to create a relaxed atmosphere. Avoiding high-stress times. Why it matters. Discussing intimate desires requires mental and emotional energy. Trying to have these conversations when either partner is stressed, tired, or preoccupied can lead to misunderstandings or hurt feelings. How to implement. Choose a time when both partners are relaxed and can dedicate their full attention to the conversation. This might be during a quiet evening or a weekend afternoon when you're both free from work or other commitments. Setting the stage for openness. Why it matters. Creating a ritual around these conversations can signal their importance and make them feel special. How to implement. Consider setting aside regular times to talk about your relationship and desires. You could introduce these discussions with positive affirmations or gratitude, acknowledging what you appreciate about your partner and your relationship. Non-confrontational approach. Why it matters. Approaching these conversations with a positive and collaborative attitude helps prevent defensiveness. How to implement. Start the conversation with I statements to express your feelings and desires without blaming or pressuring your partner. For example, "I've been thinking about how we can make our intimate moments even more special," rather than, "You never tell me what you want." Practical steps for creating a safe space. Plan the conversation. Decide on a time and place that works for both of you. Ensure you have enough time to talk without feeling rushed. Set the tone. Start with positive affirmations about your relationship. Express your appreciation for your partner and the relationship. Communicate openly. Use active listening and show empathy. Share your own desires and listen to your partners without interrupting. Establish boundaries and respect. Agree on safe words and respect each other's limits. Reassure each other that it's okay to say no and to revisit discussions as needed. By creating a safe space with comfort, openness, thoughtful timing, and setting, partners can explore their desires and deepen their connection in a supportive and respectful environment. This foundation of trust and communication is essential for a fulfilling and healthy sexual relationship. Using I statements. Introduction in any intimate relationship. Effective communication is crucial for fostering understanding and connection between partners. One powerful tool for enhancing communication and minimizing conflict is the use of I statements. These statements allow individuals to express their feelings, desires, and concerns without placing blame or criticism on their partner. By focusing on personal experiences and emotions, I statements help create a more open and supportive dialogue, which is essential for addressing sensitive topics, such as sexual desires and boundaries. Express personal feelings. Using I statements is a technique that focuses on expressing personal feelings and experiences rather than attributing blame or criticism to your partner. This method encourages a more empathetic and understanding conversation, promoting a healthier and more positive communication dynamic. Clarify your own feelings. Why it matters. Before initiating a conversation, it's essential to understand your own feelings and why you feel a certain way. This self-awareness helps you communicate more clearly and effectively. How to implement. Take some time to reflect on your emotions and identify the specific feelings you want to express. For instance, you might feel excited, nervous, or frustrated about a particular aspect of your sexual relationship. Frame desires and concerns using I statements. Why it matters. I statements focus on your own experiences and emotions, making it clear that you are speaking from your perspective. This approach reduces the likelihood of your partner feeling attacked or blamed, fostering a more open and constructive conversation. How to implement. When discussing your desires or concerns, start your sentences with I, followed by a description of your feelings and the specific situation. For example, instead of saying, "You never want to try anything new," you could say, "I feel excited when we try new things in the bedroom." Avoid blaming or criticizing. Why it matters. Blaming or criticizing can put your partner on the defensive, making it harder to have a productive conversation. I statements help avoid this by focusing on your own feelings rather than your partner's actions. How to implement. Be mindful of your language and tone. Ensure that your statements reflect your feelings and experiences without implying that your partner is at fault. For example, rather than saying, "You always ignore my needs," you could say, "I feel overlooked when my needs aren't addressed." Provide specific examples. Why it matters. Providing specific examples helps your partner understand exactly what you're referring to, making it easier for them to relate to your feelings and respond appropriately. How to implement. When using I statements, include specific situations or behaviors that illustrate your point. For example, "I feel happy and connected when we spend time cuddling after sex," instead of a vague statement like, "I need more affection." Example, "I feel excited when we try new things in the bedroom," instead of, "You never want to do anything different." In this example, the I statement focuses on the speaker's excitement about trying new things, which is a positive emotion. By framing the desire this way, the speaker communicates their feelings without making the partner feel criticized or defensive. Positive emotion highlight. Why it matters. Highlighting positive emotions, such as excitement, helps to create a more supportive and optimistic atmosphere for the conversation. How to implement. Use positive language to describe how you feel about a potential change or new experience. For instance, saying, "I feel excited" conveys enthusiasm and openness, encouraging your partner to engage positively with the idea. Fostering openness and collaboration. Why it matters. By focusing on personal feelings, I statements invite your partner to share their own thoughts and feelings, fostering a collaborative approach to resolving issues or exploring new experiences. How to implement. After expressing your feelings with an I statement, invite your partner to share their perspective. For example, I feel excited when we try new things in the bedroom. How do you feel about exploring something new together? Reducing defensiveness. Why it matters. Statements that start with you never or you always can make your partner feel attacked and defensive. I statements help to prevent this by focusing on your own experience rather than criticizing your partner. How to implement. Practice rephrasing statements that might come across as accusatory. For example, change "you never want to do anything different" to "I feel disappointed when we stick to the same routine because I enjoy trying new things." Encouraging empathy and understanding. Why it matters. I statements encourage empathy by helping your partner understand your perspective and feelings. This understanding is key to building a deeper emotional connection. How to implement. Share your feelings openly and honestly, and encourage your partner to ask questions if they need clarification. For instance, I feel vulnerable sharing this with you, but I think it will help us grow closer. What do you think? Practical steps for using I statements. Reflect on your feelings. Spend some time thinking about your emotions and the specific situations that trigger them. Write down your thoughts if it helps you organize them better. Frame your statements. Use I statements to express your feelings and experiences. Avoid using accusatory language that might make your partner feel blamed or criticized. Communicate clearly and positively. Choose positive language that reflects your enthusiasm and openness. Be specific about the behaviors or situations that relate to your feelings. Encourage mutual sharing. Invite your partner to share their feelings and perspectives. Foster a collaborative and empathetic conversation. By using I statements, couples can communicate more effectively, reducing misunderstandings and fostering a deeper emotional connection. This approach helps create a supportive and respectful environment where both partners feel valued and understood, enhancing the overall intimacy and satisfaction in the relationship. Active listening. Introduction. In any relationship, communication is the cornerstone of understanding and connection. One of the most effective communication techniques is active listening, a skill that goes beyond just hearing the words spoken by your partner. Active listening involves giving your full attention, showing empathy, and engaging in the conversation in a way that demonstrates understanding and respect. By practicing active listening, couples can enhance their emotional bond, resolve conflicts more effectively, and build a deeper sense of trust and intimacy. Show understanding. Active listening begins with demonstrating that you are fully engaged and understand what your partner is saying. This involves both nonverbal and verbal cues that show you are paying attention and valuing their words. Give full attention. Why it matters. When your partner is speaking, giving them your undivided attention shows that you value their thoughts and feelings. This can make them feel respected and heard, which is essential for building trust and intimacy. How to implement. Put away distractions such as phones, turn off the TV, and face your partner directly. Make eye contact and focus on their words rather than planning your response while they are speaking. Non-verbal cues. Why it matters. Non-verbal cues, such as nodding, maintaining eye contact, and leaning slightly forward, signal that you are engaged and interested in the conversation. These cues can help your partner feel more comfortable and encouraged to share. How to implement. Use body language that shows you are present and attentive. Nodding occasionally, smiling, or using facial expressions that match the tone of the conversation can help convey empathy and understanding. Verbal acknowledgments. Why it matters. Verbal acknowledgments, such as "I see," or "I understand," provide reassurance that you are following the conversation and validating your partner's feelings. How to implement. Interject brief verbal affirmations during pauses in the conversation. Ensure these are genuine and appropriately timed, so as not to interrupt the flow of your partner's thoughts. Reflect and clarify. To ensure you fully understand your partner's message, it is essential to reflect back what they have said and ask clarifying questions. This helps to confirm your understanding and shows your partner that you are genuinely interested in their perspective. Reflect back what your partner says. Why it matters. Reflecting back what your partner says demonstrates that you are actively listening and trying to understand their message. It also provides an opportunity for them to correct any misunderstandings. How to implement. Paraphrase or summarize what your partner has said in your own words. For example, it sounds like you're feeling frustrated because we haven't had much quality time together lately. Ask clarifying questions. Why it matters. Asking questions helps to clear up any ambiguities and ensures you have a complete understanding of your partner's thoughts and feelings. It also shows that you are engaged and care about getting the full picture. How to implement. Ask open-ended questions that encourage your partner to elaborate. For instance, can you tell me more about what's been bothering you? Or, how did that situation make you feel? Validate their feelings. Why it matters. Validating your partner's feelings shows empathy and understanding. It helps them feel acknowledged and supported, which can strengthen the emotional bond between you. How to implement. Acknowledge your partner's emotions by saying things like, I can see why you would feel that way, or it makes sense that you're upset about this. Avoid dismissing or minimizing their feelings, even if you don't fully agree. Summarize and confirm. Why it matters. Summarizing the conversation helps to ensure that both partners are on the same page and have a shared understanding. It can also highlight the key points and actions that need to be taken. How to implement. At the end of the conversation, briefly summarize the main points and any agreed-upon actions. For example, so, you feel like we need to make more time for each other. Let's plan a date night this weekend. Does that sound good to you? Practical steps for active listening. Create a distraction-free environment. Choose a quiet place where you can talk without interruptions or distractions. Ensure both partners are ready and willing to engage in the conversation. Use nonverbal cues. Make eye contact, nod, and use facial expressions to show you are listening. Maintain an open and receptive body posture. Provide verbal acknowledgments. Use short phrases like, I see, I understand, and aha to show you are engaged. Avoid interrupting your partner while they are speaking. Reflect and clarify. Paraphrase what your partner has said to confirm your understanding. Ask open-ended questions to encourage further elaboration. Validate and summarize. Acknowledge your partner's feelings and show empathy. Summarize the conversation and confirm any agreed-upon actions. By practicing active listening, couples can enhance their communication, resolve conflicts more effectively, and build a deeper sense of trust and intimacy. This approach fosters a supportive and respectful environment where both partners feel valued and understood, strengthening the overall relationship. Being honest and clear. Introduction. Effective communication is the foundation of a healthy and fulfilling relationship, especially when it comes to expressing desires and setting boundaries. Honesty and clarity are paramount in ensuring that both partners understand each other's needs and expectations. By practicing direct communication, couples can avoid misunderstandings and build a deeper sense of trust and intimacy. This involves being straightforward about desires and boundaries and making specific requests that leave no room for ambiguity. Direct communication. Being honest and clear about your desires and boundaries involves direct communication, which is essential for fostering understanding and trust. Avoiding vague language or hinting ensures that your partner knows exactly what you mean and can respond appropriately. Honesty about desires. Why it matters. Being honest about your desires allows your partner to understand what makes you happy and satisfied. It also opens the door for them to share their own desires, creating a more open and communicative relationship. How to implement. Express your desires in a straightforward manner. For example, instead of hinting that you'd like to try something new, say, I would really like to explore new sexual activities together. How do you feel about that? Clear boundaries. Why it matters. Clearly stating your boundaries ensures that your partner understands your limits and respects them. This is crucial for creating a safe and respectful environment where both partners feel comfortable. How to implement. Be specific about what you are and are not comfortable with. For example, I am not comfortable with rough play, but I am open to trying other forms of intimacy. Avoiding vague language. Why it matters. Vague language or hinting can lead to misunderstandings and frustration. Clear and direct communication prevents confusion and ensures that your partner knows exactly what you are asking for. How to implement. Use precise language when expressing your thoughts and desires. For instance, instead of saying, "It would be nice to change things up," say, "I'd like to try incorporating toys into our sex life." Expressing needs without blame. Why it matters. Expressing your needs without blaming your partner helps to keep the conversation positive and constructive. This approach fosters a collaborative effort to meet each other's needs. How to implement. Frame your needs in a way that focuses on your feelings and experiences. For example, "I feel more connected when we spend time cuddling after sex," rather than, "You never cuddle with me after sex." Specific requests. Making specific requests is essential for clear communication and helps to avoid misunderstandings. When desires and fantasies are expressed with specificity, it ensures that both partners have a clear understanding of what is being asked and can respond appropriately. State specific desires. Why it matters. Specificity helps to remove any ambiguity and makes it easier for your partner to understand and fulfill your desires. How to implement. Clearly describe what you want. For example, "I'd like to try role-playing where we pretend to be strangers meeting for the first time." Instead of a vague, "Let's try role-playing." Detailing fantasies. Why it matters. Providing details about your fantasies helps your partner understand exactly what you're envisioning and how to participate. This clarity can make the experience more enjoyable for both partners. How to implement. Share the elements of your fantasy that are important to you. For example, "In my fantasy, I imagine us in a hotel room, with you pretending to be someone I've just met at the bar." Requesting consent. Why it matters. Specific requests should always be followed by a request for consent to ensure your partner is comfortable and willing to participate. How to implement. After stating your desire, ask your partner how they feel about it. For example, "I'd like to explore bondage with you. How do you feel about that?" Setting clear expectations. Why it matters. Setting clear expectations ensures that both partners know what to anticipate, reducing anxiety and increasing comfort. How to implement. Outline what you hope to achieve or experience. For example, "I'd like us to have a dedicated date night each week where we can focus on each other and try new things." Example, "I feel excited when we try new things in the bedroom," instead of, "You never want to do anything different." In this example, the I statement focuses on the speaker's excitement about trying new things, which is a positive emotion. By framing the desire this way, the speaker communicates their feelings without making the partner feel criticized or defensive. Positive emotion highlight. Why it matters. Highlighting positive emotions, such as excitement, helps to create a more supportive and optimistic atmosphere for the conversation. How to implement. Use positive language to describe how you feel about a potential change or new experience. For instance, saying, "I feel excited" conveys enthusiasm and openness, encouraging your partner to engage positively with the idea. Fostering openness and collaboration. Why it matters. By focusing on personal feelings, I statements invite your partner to share their own thoughts and feelings, fostering a collaborative approach to resolving issues or exploring new experiences. How to implement. After expressing your feelings with an I statement, invite your partner to share their perspective. For example, "I feel excited when we try new things in the bedroom." How do you feel about exploring something new together? Reducing defensiveness. Why it matters. Statements that start with "you never" or "you always" can make your partner feel attacked and defensive. I statements help to prevent this by focusing on your own experience rather than criticizing your partner. How to implement. Practice rephrasing statements that might come across as accusatory. For example, change "you never want to do anything different" to "I feel disappointed when we stick to the same routine because I enjoy trying new things." Encouraging empathy and understanding. Why it matters. I statements encourage empathy by helping your partner understand your perspective and feelings. This understanding is key to building a deeper emotional connection. How to implement. Share your feelings openly and honestly, and encourage your partner to ask questions if they need clarification. For instance, I feel vulnerable sharing this with you, but I think it will help us grow closer. What do you think? Practical steps for being honest and clear. Reflect on your desires and boundaries. Take time to understand your own needs and limits. Write them down if it helps you organize your thoughts. Use clear and direct language. Avoid vague or ambiguous language. Be specific about what you want and what you don't want. Express needs without blame. Frame your statements to focus on your own feelings and experiences. Avoid accusatory language that might make your partner defensive. Request consent and set expectations. Always ask for your partner's consent before trying something new. Set clear expectations to ensure both partners are comfortable and informed. By being honest and clear in your communication, you can foster a more open, respectful, and understanding relationship. This approach helps to build trust, reduce misunderstandings, and enhance intimacy, ensuring that both partners feel valued and heard. Regular check-ins. Introduction in any intimate relationship. Maintaining an ongoing dialogue about sexual desires and boundaries is crucial for fostering a healthy and satisfying connection. Regular check-ins create an environment where both partners feel comfortable expressing their evolving needs and concerns. This continuous communication helps to ensure that both partners are on the same page, allowing for adaptations and adjustments as desires and boundaries change over time. By making these conversations a regular part of your relationship, you can strengthen your bond, enhance mutual understanding, and promote a fulfilling sexual relationship.
Ongoing dialogue.
Making discussions about sexual desires and boundaries a regular part of your relationship, rather than a one-time conversation, is essential for fostering a healthy and open communication dynamic. This ongoing dialogue helps both partners feel valued and understood, ensuring that their needs are consistently addressed. Establish a routine. Why it matters. Regularly scheduled conversations about your sexual relationship help normalize these discussions, making them less intimidating and more constructive. How to implement. Set aside specific times, such as once a month or during a weekly date night, to talk openly about your desires, boundaries, and any changes you might want to explore. Consistency is key to making these conversations a natural part of your relationship. Create a safe and comfortable environment. Why it matters. A comfortable and safe environment encourages openness and honesty. It ensures that both partners feel secure in expressing their thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment or ridicule. How to implement. Choose a quiet, private setting where you can talk without interruptions. Make sure both partners are in a relaxed state of mind, free from distractions and stress. Creating a positive atmosphere with soft lighting or soothing music can also help. Encourage mutual sharing. Why it matters. Encouraging both partners to share their thoughts and feelings helps to balance the conversation and ensures that both perspectives are considered. How to implement. Take turns expressing your desires and boundaries. Listen actively and show empathy for your partner's experiences. Use phrases like, "I'd love to hear what you think," or "How do you feel about this?" Use open-ended questions. Why it matters. Open-ended questions encourage more detailed and thoughtful responses, leading to deeper understanding and better communication. How to implement. Ask questions that require more than a yes or no answer. For example, what aspects of our sex life do you enjoy the most? Or, are there any new experiences you'd like to explore together? Adapt and adjust. Regularly checking in with each other allows couples to adapt and adjust to changing desires and boundaries. This ongoing process ensures that both partners remain satisfied and comfortable as their relationship evolves. Acknowledge change as normal. Why it matters. Understanding that desires and boundaries can change over time helps to normalize these changes and reduces any feelings of guilt or confusion. How to implement. Reassure each other that it's natural for preferences to evolve. For example, say, "It's completely normal for our desires to change as we grow together. Let's talk about what feels right for us now." Be open to new experiences. Why it matters. Being open to trying new things keeps the sexual relationship dynamic and exciting. It also shows your willingness to explore and adapt to your partner's changing needs. How to implement. Express curiosity and interest in your partner's desires. For instance, I'm open to exploring new experiences with you. What's something new you'd like to try? Respect boundaries and limits. Why it matters. Respecting each other's boundaries is crucial for maintaining trust and ensuring both partners feel safe and respected. How to implement. Clearly communicate your boundaries and listen to your partners. Use phrases like, I appreciate you sharing your boundaries with me. I'll make sure to respect them. Address concerns promptly. Why it matters. Addressing any concerns or discomforts as they arise prevents misunderstandings and ensures that both partners feel heard and valued. How to implement. If something doesn't feel right, speak up respectfully. For example, I noticed you seemed uncomfortable last time we tried that. Can we talk about how you felt? Celebrate growth and progress. Why it matters. Acknowledging and celebrating positive changes and progress in your sexual relationship reinforces positive behavior and strengthens your bond. How to implement. Reflect on the growth and improvements in your relationship. Say things like, I'm really happy with how open we've become about discussing our desires. It's brought us closer. Practical steps for regular check-ins. Schedule regular conversations. Set a consistent time to discuss your sexual relationship, such as once a month or during weekly date nights. Make these conversations a priority in your relationship. Create a safe space. Choose a quiet, private setting free from distractions. Ensure both partners are relaxed and open to talking. Encourage mutual sharing. Take turns expressing your thoughts and feelings. Listen actively and show empathy for your partner's perspective. Use open-ended questions. Ask questions that encourage detailed responses. Examples include, what do you enjoy most about our sex life? Or, are there new experiences you'd like to try? Adapt and adjust. Acknowledge that desires and boundaries can change over time. Be open to new experiences and respect each other's limits. Address concerns promptly. Speak up if something doesn't feel right. Ensure that both partners feel heard and respected. Celebrate growth. Reflect on positive changes and improvements in your relationship. Acknowledge the progress you've made together. By incorporating regular check-ins into your relationship, you can ensure that both partners feel valued, understood, and satisfied. This ongoing dialogue fosters a deeper emotional and physical connection, promoting a healthy and fulfilling sexual relationship. Understanding consent. Introduction consent is a fundamental aspect of any healthy and respectful relationship. It is the foundation upon which trust, safety, and mutual satisfaction are built. Understanding and practicing consent ensures that both partners are actively participating in and enjoying the relationship. Consent is more than just a one-time agreement. It is an ongoing, dynamic process that requires clear communication and mutual respect. This guide explores the essential elements of consent, emphasizing the importance of mutual agreement and recognizing consent as an ongoing process. Mutual agreement. Consent is a mutual agreement to engage in specific activities, given freely and enthusiastically by both partners. It ensures that both individuals are willing participants and that their boundaries and desires are respected. Clear communication. Why it matters. Clear and explicit communication is crucial for ensuring that both partners understand and agree to the activities they are engaging in. It prevents misunderstandings and ensures that both partners are on the same page. How to implement. Use straightforward and unambiguous language when discussing desires and boundaries. For example, ask, are you comfortable with trying this? Or, would you like to continue? Freely given. Why it matters. Consent must be given freely, without any form of pressure, coercion, or manipulation. Both partners should feel completely at ease when agreeing to any activity. How to implement. Ensure that your partner feels no pressure to agree. Reassure them that their comfort and willingness are the top priorities. Say things like, only if you're comfortable with this, or it's okay if you're not ready. Enthusiastic agreement. Why it matters. Enthusiastic consent means that both partners are genuinely excited about participating in the activity. It goes beyond mere agreement and reflects a positive and eager willingness. How to implement. Look for enthusiastic responses and body language that indicate eagerness and excitement. Positive verbal cues like, yes, I'd love to, or that sounds exciting, are clear indicators of enthusiastic consent. Specific consent. Why it matters. Consent must be specific to the activity being proposed. Agreeing to one activity does not imply consent for another. Each new activity requires its own explicit consent. How to implement. Clearly outline and agree on the specifics of the activity. For example, are you okay with kissing? Does not imply consent for further physical intimacy. Always ask for consent for each new activity. Ongoing process. Consent is not a one-time event but an ongoing process that can be withdrawn at any time. It requires continuous communication and respect for each partner's boundaries. Regular check-ins. Why it matters. Regularly checking in with your partner during intimate activities ensures that both partners remain comfortable and willing to continue. It reinforces the importance of mutual respect and communication. How to implement. Periodically ask your partner how they are feeling if they are still comfortable. Simple questions like, is this still okay for you? Or do you want to keep going? Help maintain ongoing consent. Respecting boundaries. Why it matters. Boundaries are essential for maintaining trust and safety in a relationship. Respecting your partner's boundaries shows that you value their comfort and autonomy. How to implement. Always listen to your partner's boundaries and never push them to go beyond what they are comfortable with. If your partner expresses discomfort or asks to stop, immediately respect their wishes without question. Withdrawal of consent. Why it matters. Consent can be withdrawn at any time, for any reason. Both partners must feel empowered to express their discomfort and stop the activity if they no longer feel comfortable. How to implement. Make it clear to your partner that they can withdraw consent at any time and that their decision will be respected. Reassure them by saying, you can tell me to stop at any point and I will. Non-verbal cues. Why it matters. Sometimes, a partner might not verbally express their discomfort. It's essential to pay attention to nonverbal cues such as body language, facial expressions, and overall demeanor. How to implement. Be observant of your partner's nonverbal signals. If they seem tense, withdrawn, or unresponsive, check in with them verbally. Ask, are you okay? Or do you want to continue? To ensure ongoing consent. Practical steps for understanding consent. Communicate clearly. Use explicit language to discuss desires and boundaries. Ensure that both partners understand and agree to the activities. Ensure freely given consent. Avoid any form of pressure or coercion. Reassure your partner that their comfort is the priority. Seek enthusiastic agreement. Look for enthusiastic responses and positive body language. Confirm that both partners are genuinely excited about the activity. Obtain specific consent. Ask for consent for each new activity. Be clear about the specifics of what you are proposing. Conduct regular check-ins. Periodically ask your partner if they are comfortable and want to continue. Use questions like, is this still okay for you? Or do you want to keep going? Respect boundaries. Always listen to and respect your partner's boundaries. Never push them to go beyond what they are comfortable with. Honor withdrawal of consent. Make it clear that consent can be withdrawn at any time. Immediately stop the activity if your partner expresses discomfort or asks to stop. Observe nonverbal cues. Pay attention to your partner's body language and facial expressions. Check in verbally if they seem tense, withdrawn, or unresponsive. By understanding and practicing consent as a mutual agreement and an ongoing process, couples can create a safe, respectful, and fulfilling sexual relationship. This approach ensures that both partners feel valued, respected, and empowered to express their desires and boundaries freely. Clear communication of boundaries. Introduction boundaries are essential in any relationship, as they help define what is comfortable and acceptable for each partner. Clear communication of boundaries ensures that both partners understand and respect each other's limits, fostering a healthy and respectful relationship. Establishing and respecting boundaries creates a safe environment where both individuals feel valued and understood. This guide will delve into the importance of expressing and respecting boundaries, highlighting how to effectively communicate and honor these limits to maintain trust and intimacy in your relationship. Express limits. Clearly communicating your boundaries and listening to your partner's boundaries is crucial for a healthy and respectful relationship. This open dialogue helps ensure that both partners feel comfortable and respected. Understand your own boundaries. Why it matters. Knowing your own limits is the first step in being able to communicate them effectively. It allows you to enter conversations with a clear understanding of what you are comfortable with. How to implement. Reflect on your personal boundaries regarding physical, emotional, and sexual aspects of the relationship. Consider what activities or behaviors make you uncomfortable or anxious. Initiate the conversation. Why it matters. Initiating a conversation about boundaries sets a precedent for open and honest communication. It shows that you are proactive in ensuring both partners' comfort and safety. How to implement. Choose a calm and private setting to discuss boundaries. Start the conversation by sharing your own boundaries and inviting your partner to share theirs. For example, I'd like to talk about our boundaries to make sure we're both comfortable and on the same page. Use clear and direct language. Why it matters. Using clear and direct language helps avoid misunderstandings and ensures that your partner knows exactly what your boundaries are. How to implement. Be specific about your limits. Instead of saying, "I'm not sure about that," say, "I'm not comfortable with this." Clarity helps your partner understand your needs better. Encourage mutual sharing. Why it matters. Encouraging your partner to share their boundaries fosters a two-way dialogue, ensuring that both partners feel heard and respected. How to implement. After expressing your boundaries, ask your partner about theirs. Use open-ended questions like, "What are some things you're not comfortable with?" Or, "Are there any boundaries you'd like to set?" Listen actively. Why it matters. Active listening shows that you respect and value your partner's boundaries. It helps build trust and ensures that you understand their limits clearly. How to implement. When your partner shares their boundaries, listen without interrupting. Nod, make eye contact, and repeat back what they've said to confirm understanding. For example, "I hear that you're not comfortable with." Respect limits. Always respecting the boundaries set by your partner without pressure or coercion is crucial for maintaining trust and safety in the relationship. It shows that you honor their comfort and autonomy. Acknowledge and validate. Why it matters. Acknowledging and validating your partner's boundaries reinforces that you respect their limits and value their feelings. How to implement. Respond to your partner's boundaries with understanding and empathy. Say things like, "I respect your boundaries and appreciate you sharing them with me." Avoid pressure or coercion. Why it matters. Pressuring or coercing your partner to go beyond their boundaries can damage trust and create feelings of discomfort and resentment. How to implement. Respect your partner's decisions without trying to persuade them to change their mind. If they set a boundary, accept it without argument or pressure. For example, "I understand, and I won't push you to do that." Check in regularly. Why it matters. Boundaries can change over time, and regular check-ins ensure that both partners remain comfortable with the established limits. How to implement. Periodically ask your partner if their boundaries have changed and if they feel comfortable with how things are going. For example, "Are you still comfortable with our boundaries? Is there anything you'd like to revisit?" Respect nonverbal cues. Why it matters. Sometimes, a partner might not verbally express discomfort, but their body language and behavior can indicate it. How to implement. Pay attention to your partner's nonverbal signals, such as pulling away, tense posture, or lack of enthusiasm. If you notice these cues, Check in with them verbally. Ask, "Are you okay? Do we need to stop?" Create a supportive environment. Why it matters. A supportive environment encourages ongoing communication about boundaries and fosters mutual respect. How to implement. Make it clear that your partner can express their boundaries at any time and that their comfort is a priority. Reinforce this by saying, "You can always tell me if something makes you uncomfortable." Practical steps for clear communication of boundaries. Reflect on your boundaries. Spend time understanding your own limits. Identify what makes you comfortable and what doesn't. Initiate the conversation. Choose a calm and private setting. Share your boundaries and invite your partner to share theirs. Use clear and direct language. Be specific about your limits. Avoid vague language to prevent misunderstandings. Encourage mutual sharing. Ask open-ended questions to understand your partner's boundaries. Foster a two-way dialogue for mutual respect. Listen actively. Show that you value and respect your partner's boundaries. Confirm your understanding by repeating back what they've said. Acknowledge and validate. Respond with empathy and understanding. Show appreciation for your partner sharing their boundaries. Avoid pressure or coercion. Respect your partner's decisions without trying to change their mind. Accept their boundaries without argument or persuasion. Check in regularly. Periodically revisit and discuss boundaries. Ensure both partners are still comfortable with the established limits. Respect nonverbal cues. Pay attention to your partner's body language and behavior. Check in verbally if you notice signs of discomfort. Create a supportive environment. Encourage ongoing communication about boundaries. Reinforce that your partner's comfort is a priority. By clearly communicating and respecting boundaries, couples can build a stronger, more trusting relationship. This approach ensures that both partners feel valued and understood, fostering a safe and supportive environment for mutual growth and intimacy. Using safe words. Introduction in intimate relationships, especially when exploring new or intense activities, ensuring mutual comfort and safety is paramount. Safe words are an essential tool for maintaining this safety. They provide a clear, unambiguous way for partners to communicate when they need to pause or stop an activity. Establishing and respecting safe words helps build trust and ensures that both partners feel secure in their ability to set boundaries. This guide will discuss the importance of establishing safe words and the necessity of immediately respecting their use without question or pressure. Establish safe words. Agree on safe words that can be used to pause or stop an activity if one partner feels uncomfortable. Safe words are predetermined signals that allow partners to communicate their limits clearly and effectively. Choosing safe words. Why it matters. Safe words should be easy to remember and clearly distinguishable from normal conversation. They provide a quick and clear way to signal discomfort or the need to stop. How to implement. Select words that are simple and unlikely to be confused with other words. Common choices include red for stop, yellow for slow down or pause, and green for continue. Ensure both partners understand and agree on the chosen words. Understanding their purpose. Why it matters. Knowing why safe words are important reinforces their use and significance. They are crucial for maintaining comfort and trust during intimate activities. How to implement. Discuss the purpose of safe words with your partner. Emphasize that they are a tool for ensuring mutual safety and comfort. For example, safe words help us communicate clearly and ensure that we both feel safe and respected. Setting clear guidelines. Why it matters. Clear guidelines on when and how to use safe words ensure that both partners feel confident in using them when needed. How to implement. Agree on specific situations where safe words should be used. This could include physical discomfort, emotional distress, or simply feeling overwhelmed. Make it clear that using a safe word is always acceptable and encouraged if either partner feels uncomfortable. Practicing their use. Why it matters. Practicing the use of safe words in non-intimate settings can help both partners feel more comfortable using them when needed. How to implement. Practice scenarios where safe words might be used. This can help normalize their use and reduce any hesitation. For example, let's practice using our safe words so we're both comfortable with them. Immediate respect. Immediately respect the use of safe words without questioning or pressuring. When a safe word is used, it must be honored instantly to ensure the safety and trust within the relationship. Stopping immediately. Why it matters. Immediate cessation of the activity when a safe word is used is crucial for maintaining trust and safety. It shows that you respect your partner's boundaries. How to implement. As soon as a safe word is spoken, stop the activity right away. Do not continue any actions, even if they seem minor or unrelated. For example, if the safe word, read, is used, halt all movements and interactions immediately. Checking in. Why it matters. After a safe word is used, it's important to check in with your partner to understand their needs and ensure they feel supported. How to implement. Gently ask your partner how they are feeling and if they need anything. For instance, you used our safe word. Are you okay? Is there anything you need right now? Offering comfort. Why it matters. Providing emotional support after a safe word is used helps your partner feel cared for and respected. It reinforces the importance of their comfort and well-being. How to implement. Offer comfort through physical affection, like holding hands or a gentle hug, if your partner is receptive. Use comforting words such as, "I'm here for you," or "It's okay, we can stop." Avoiding pressure or coercion. Why it matters. Pressuring or questioning your partner after they use a safe word undermines its purpose and can damage trust. Respecting their need to stop without question is essential. How to implement. Refrain from asking why they used the safe word in that moment. Instead, focus on ensuring they feel safe and supported. Later, when both partners feel ready, you can discuss the experience to understand and respect each other's boundaries better. Reflecting together. Why it matters. Reflecting on the experience helps both partners understand each other's limits and improve future interactions. How to implement. Once both partners are calm and comfortable, discuss what led to the use of the safe word. Use this conversation to learn and adapt. For example, can we talk about what happened earlier? I want to make sure I understand your boundaries better. Practical steps for using safe words. Choose simple and clear words. Select safe words that are easy to remember and not likely to be confused with regular conversation. Common choices include red for stop, yellow for pause, and green for continue. Discuss their importance. Talk with your partner about why safe words are essential for maintaining comfort and trust. Emphasize that they are a tool for ensuring mutual safety. Set clear guidelines. Agree on specific situations where safe words should be used. Make it clear that using a safe word is always acceptable and encouraged. Practice using safe words. Practice scenarios where safe words might be used to normalize their use. Ensure both partners feel comfortable using them. Stop immediately when used. Halt all activities immediately when a safe word is spoken. Do not continue any actions, even if they seem minor. Check in and offer comfort. Ask your partner how they are feeling and if they need anything after using a safe word. Provide emotional support through physical affection and comforting words. Avoid pressure or coercion. Refrain from questioning or pressuring your partner after they use a safe word. Focus on ensuring they feel safe and supported. Reflect together. Discuss the experience once both partners are calm and comfortable. Use the conversation to understand each other's boundaries better and improve future interactions. By establishing and respecting safe words, couples can create a safe and trusting environment for exploring their intimate relationship. This practice ensures that both partners feel empowered to communicate their limits and that their boundaries are always honored, fostering a deeper sense of mutual respect and understanding. Nonverbal cues. Introduction. Effective communication in intimate relationships extends beyond verbal expressions. Nonverbal cues, such as body language and facial expressions, play a significant role in conveying emotions and levels of comfort. Being attuned to these cues helps partners understand each other's boundaries and ensures ongoing consent. Regularly checking in with your partner during activities reinforces a safe and respectful environment. This guide explores the importance of reading nonverbal cues and the practice of regular check-ins to maintain mutual comfort and consent. Read body language. Paying attention to nonverbal cues such as body language and facial expressions that may indicate discomfort is crucial for understanding and respecting your partner's boundaries. Nonverbal communication can often reveal feelings that words may not fully express. Observe physical tension. Why it matters. Physical tension, such as stiff muscles or a rigid posture, can indicate discomfort or anxiety. Recognizing these signs helps you respond appropriately to your partner's needs. How to implement. Notice changes in your partner's body language. If they become tense or their movements become more restricted, it may be a sign that they are uncomfortable. For example, if they start clenching their fists or crossing their arms, these could be indicators of distress. Monitor facial expressions. Why it matters. Facial expressions can convey a wide range of emotions, including discomfort, fear, or unease. Paying attention to these expressions helps you gauge your partner's feelings. How to implement. Look for signs of discomfort on your partner's face, such as furrowed brows, tight lips, or a forced smile. If their expression changes from relaxed to tense or anxious, it's a cue that they might be feeling uneasy. Notice changes in breathing. Why it matters. Changes in breathing patterns, such as shallow or rapid breaths, can indicate stress or discomfort. Being aware of these changes helps you assess your partner's emotional state. How to implement. Pay attention to your partner's breathing. If they start breathing faster or more shallowly, it may be a sign of discomfort. In such cases, it's important to check in with them to ensure they are okay. Observe movement and positioning. Why it matters. How your partner moves or positions themselves can indicate their level of comfort. Retreating or creating physical distance may signal discomfort. How to implement. Watch for signs that your partner is trying to create distance, such as moving away or turning their body away from you. If they shift their position frequently or seem to be trying to avoid touch, these could be indications of discomfort. Check in. Regularly checking in with your partner during activities to ensure they are still comfortable and consenting reinforces a safe and respectful environment. Continuous communication is key to maintaining mutual comfort and consent. Ask open-ended questions. Why it matters. Open-ended questions encourage your partner to express their feelings and concerns more fully, rather than giving simple yes or no answers. How to implement. Periodically ask your partner questions that invite them to share their thoughts. For example, how are you feeling right now? Or, is there anything you'd like to change or stop? Be attentive and responsive. Why it matters. Being attentive and responsive to your partner's needs shows that you care about their comfort and well-being. It builds trust and reinforces a respectful dynamic. How to implement. Listen actively to your partner's responses and act accordingly. If they express discomfort or a desire to change something, respond promptly and with empathy. For example, I appreciate you telling me. Let's adjust this. Provide reassurance. Why it matters. Reassuring your partner that it's okay to express their discomfort and that you respect their boundaries fosters a supportive environment. How to implement. Regularly remind your partner that their comfort is your priority. Use phrases like, please let me know if you're uncomfortable, or it's important to me that you feel safe and respected. Adjust as needed. Why it matters. Being willing to adjust activities based on your partner's feedback demonstrates flexibility and respect for their boundaries. How to implement. If your partner indicates discomfort, be ready to modify or stop the activity immediately. For instance, if they say, I'm not comfortable with this, respond with, thank you for letting me know. Let's stop and talk about what feels better for you. Practical steps for using nonverbal cues. Observe physical tension. Pay attention to signs of tension, such as stiff muscles or rigid posture. Adjust your approach if you notice these cues. Monitor facial expressions. Look for signs of discomfort, such as furrowed brows or tight lips. Check in with your partner if their facial expression indicates unease. Notice changes in breathing. Be aware of changes in breathing patterns, such as rapid or shallow breaths. Ask your partner how they're feeling if you observe these changes. Observe movement and positioning. Watch for signs of creating distance or avoiding touch. Address any discomfort your partner might be signaling through their movements. Ask open-ended questions. Regularly ask questions that encourage your partner to share their feelings. For example, how are you feeling right now? Or, is there anything you'd like to change? Be attentive and responsive. Listen actively to your partner's responses and act accordingly. Show empathy and willingness to adjust based on their feedback. Provide reassurance. Regularly remind your partner that their comfort is your priority. Use phrases like, "Please let me know if you're uncomfortable." Adjust as needed. Be ready to modify or stop the activity based on your partner's feedback. Respect their boundaries and ensure their comfort at all times. By paying attention to nonverbal cues and regularly checking in with your partner, you can ensure that both partners feel comfortable and respected. This approach helps maintain ongoing consent and fosters a safe and supportive environment for intimacy. Gentle refusal. Introduction. In any relationship, there will be times when one partner's desires do not align with the other's comfort level. How these situations are handled can significantly impact the health and trust within the relationship. Gentle refusal is an approach that emphasizes kindness and compassion while expressing personal boundaries. It allows one to acknowledge and validate their partner's desires without compromising their own comfort and limits. This guide explores the importance of being kind and compassionate in refusal, providing techniques and examples to help navigate these conversations respectfully. Be kind and compassionate. Using kind and compassionate language to refuse a request helps maintain respect and understanding within the relationship. This approach acknowledges your partner's desires while clearly expressing your own boundaries, ensuring that both partners feel heard and valued. Acknowledge your partner's desires. Why it matters. Acknowledging your partner's desires shows that you respect and value their feelings, even if you are not comfortable fulfilling their request. It helps them feel understood and appreciated. How to implement. Start your response by recognizing and validating their feelings. For example, "I see that this is important to you," or "I understand that you want to try this." Express your boundaries clearly. Why it matters. Clear expression of your boundaries is essential to ensure that your partner understands your limits. It helps prevent misunderstandings and reinforces mutual respect. How to implement. Use straightforward language to communicate your boundaries without ambiguity. For instance, "I'm not comfortable with this right now," or "This is something I'm not ready to try." Use I statements. Why it matters. Using I statements helps to express your feelings and boundaries without blaming or criticizing your partner. It focuses on your personal experience, which can reduce defensiveness. How to implement. Frame your response with I statements to focus on your feelings and comfort. For example, "I feel uncomfortable with this," or "I'm not ready to do this right now." Be gentle and compassionate. Why it matters. A gentle and compassionate approach helps to maintain the emotional connection and trust in the relationship. It shows that you care about your partner's feelings while standing firm on your boundaries. How to implement. Use a warm and understanding tone. Express empathy and compassion while stating your refusal. For example, "I understand that this is something you're interested in, but I'm not comfortable with it at the moment." Example, "I understand you want to try this, but I'm not comfortable with it right now." In this example, the speaker acknowledges their partner's desire while clearly expressing their own boundary. This approach maintains respect and understanding, ensuring that both partners feel valued and heard. Acknowledge the desire. Why it matters. Recognizing your partner's desire shows respect and appreciation for their feelings, helping them feel understood and valued. How to implement. Begin your response by acknowledging their interest. For example, I understand you want to try this. Express your boundary. Why it matters. Clearly stating your boundary ensures that your partner knows your limits, helping to prevent misunderstandings and maintain respect. How to implement. Follow the acknowledgement with a clear statement of your boundary. For example, I'm not comfortable with it right now. Provide reassurance. Why it matters. Offering reassurance helps to maintain the emotional connection and ensures that your partner knows you value their feelings, even if you're not ready to meet their request. How to implement. Reassure your partner that their feelings are important to you. For example, I appreciate you sharing this with me, and it's something we can discuss again in the future. Suggest alternatives. Why it matters. Suggesting alternatives shows that you are open to finding a middle ground and are willing to engage in activities that make both partners comfortable. How to implement. If appropriate, propose alternatives that you are comfortable with. For example, I'm not comfortable with that idea right now, but how about we try? Practical steps for gentle refusal. Acknowledge your partner's desires. Recognize and validate your partner's feelings. Start with phrases like, I understand that this is important to you. Express your boundaries clearly. Use straightforward language to communicate your limits. Say, I'm not comfortable with this right now. Use I statements. Focus on your personal feelings to avoid blaming or criticizing. Frame your response with I statements, such as, I feel uncomfortable with this. Be gentle and compassionate. Use a warm and understanding tone. Express empathy while stating your refusal. Provide reassurance. Reassure your partner that their feelings are important to you. Say, I appreciate you sharing this with me, and it's something we can discuss again in the future. Suggest alternatives. Propose alternatives that you are comfortable with. For example, I'm not comfortable with that idea right now, but how about we try? By using gentle refusal, couples can navigate differences in desires with kindness and respect, ensuring that both partners feel valued and understood. This approach fosters a supportive and trusting relationship where boundaries are respected and communication remains open and compassionate. Provide alternatives. Introduction in intimate relationships, it's natural for partners to have differing desires and comfort levels. When one partner expresses a boundary or discomfort with a particular activity, it's important to handle the situation with sensitivity and care. Offering alternatives is a constructive way to navigate these differences, allowing both partners to feel heard and respected while exploring new possibilities together. By suggesting activities or compromises that you are comfortable with, you can maintain a positive and supportive atmosphere, fostering mutual satisfaction and trust. This guide explores the importance of providing alternatives and offers practical strategies for suggesting them effectively. Suggest alternatives. Offering alternative activities or compromises that you are comfortable with helps maintain a positive dynamic in the relationship. This approach shows that you respect your partner's desires while also honoring your own boundaries. Acknowledge your partner's request. Why it matters. Acknowledging your partner's request validates their feelings and shows that you are attentive and considerate. It helps them feel understood and appreciated. How to implement. Begin by recognizing their desire. For example, I understand that you want to try. Express your discomfort. Why it matters. Clearly communicating your discomfort sets a boundary and ensures that your partner knows what you are not comfortable with. It prevents misunderstandings and reinforces mutual respect. How to implement. Use I statements to express your feelings. For instance, I'm not comfortable with. Suggest an alternative. Why it matters. Suggesting an alternative demonstrates that you are willing to find a compromise and engage in activities that make both partners comfortable. It shows that you value your partner's desires while maintaining your boundaries. How to implement. Propose a different activity that you are comfortable with. For example, how about we try instead? Provide multiple options. Why it matters. Offering multiple alternatives gives your partner more choices and increases the likelihood of finding a mutually satisfying compromise. How to implement. Suggest a few different activities that you are open to. For example, I'm not comfortable with, but we could try, or which one do you prefer? Encourage open dialogue. Why it matters. Encouraging open dialogue ensures that both partners can discuss their feelings and preferences, leading to better understanding and mutual satisfaction. How to implement. Invite your partner to share their thoughts on the suggested alternatives. For instance, how do you feel about trying? Is there something else you'd like to suggest? Example, I'm not comfortable with that, but how about we try this instead? In this example, the speaker acknowledges their partner's desire, expresses their own discomfort, and suggests an alternative activity. This approach maintains respect and consideration for both partners' feelings. Acknowledge the request. Why it matters. Recognizing your partner's request shows respect and appreciation for their feelings. How to implement. Begin by acknowledging their desire. For example, I understand you want to try. Express discomfort. Why it matters. Clearly stating your discomfort sets a boundary and ensures mutual respect. How to implement. Use I statements to express your feelings. For example, I'm not comfortable with that. Suggest an alternative. Why it matters. Proposing an alternative shows willingness to compromise and engage in activities that make both partners comfortable. How to implement. Offer a different activity that you are open to. For example, how about we try instead? Provide multiple options. Why it matters. Giving multiple alternatives increases the likelihood of finding a mutually satisfying compromise. How to implement. Suggest a few different activities. For example, I'm not comfortable with, but we could try, or which one do you prefer? Encourage open dialogue. Why it matters. Encouraging open dialogue helps both partners discuss their feelings and preferences. How to implement. Ask your partner for their thoughts on the alternatives. For instance, how do you feel about trying? Is there something else you'd like to suggest? Practical steps for providing alternatives. Acknowledge your partner's request. Recognize and validate your partner's feelings. Start with phrases like, I understand that you want to try. Express your discomfort. Clearly communicate your discomfort using I statements. Say, I'm not comfortable with. Suggest an alternative. Propose a different activity that you are comfortable with. For example, how about we try instead? Provide multiple options. Offer multiple alternatives to increase the likelihood of finding a mutually satisfying compromise. Suggest a few different activities such as, we could try, or encourage open dialogue. Invite your partner to share their thoughts on the suggested alternatives. Ask, how do you feel about trying? Is there something else you'd like to suggest? By suggesting alternatives, couples can navigate differences in desires with empathy and respect, ensuring that both partners feel valued and heard. This approach fosters a positive and supportive atmosphere, allowing for mutual satisfaction and a deeper emotional connection. Explain your feelings. Introduction in intimate relationships. Communication is key to understanding and respecting each other's boundaries. When you need to say no to a partner's request, explaining your feelings and reasons can help them understand your perspective. This transparency fosters trust and empathy, ensuring that both partners feel heard and respected. Sharing the reasons behind your boundaries not only clarifies your stance, but also strengthens the emotional connection by promoting open and honest dialogue. This guide explores the importance of explaining your feelings and provides practical steps for doing so effectively. Share reasons. Explaining your feelings and reasons for saying no helps your partner understand your perspective and fosters empathy and trust in the relationship. This approach ensures that your partner knows that your refusal is not a rejection of them, but a reflection of your own comfort levels and boundaries. Identify your feelings. Why it matters. Understanding and identifying your own feelings is the first step in being able to communicate them effectively. This self-awareness helps you articulate your emotions clearly. How to implement. Reflect on your feelings about the specific request. Consider why it makes you uncomfortable and what emotions are involved. For example, you might feel vulnerable, anxious, or unsure. Communicate clearly and honestly. Why it matters. Clear and honest communication ensures that your partner understands your perspective. It prevents misunderstandings and shows that you are willing to be open and vulnerable. How to implement. Use straightforward language to explain your feelings. Be specific about the emotions you are experiencing. For example, I'm not comfortable with that because it makes me feel vulnerable. Use I statements. Why it matters. Using I statements helps to express your feelings without blaming or criticizing your partner. It focuses on your personal experience and avoids making your partner feel defensive. How to implement. Frame your explanations with I statements to emphasize your own feelings. For example, I feel anxious about this because it's outside my comfort zone. Provide context. Why it matters. Providing context for your feelings helps your partner understand the underlying reasons for your discomfort. It adds depth to your explanation and fosters empathy. How to implement. Share any relevant background or experiences that contribute to your feelings. For example, I've had past experiences that make me cautious about trying new things without thorough discussion. Invite questions and dialogue. Why it matters. Inviting your partner to ask questions or share their thoughts ensures that the conversation is a two-way dialogue. It helps both partners understand each other better and fosters mutual respect. How to implement. Encourage your partner to ask questions or express their feelings about your explanation. For example, I'm happy to talk more about this if you have any questions, or if there's anything you'd like to share. Example, I'm not comfortable with that because it makes me feel vulnerable. In this example, the speaker clearly communicates their discomfort and provides a specific reason, fostering understanding and empathy. This approach maintains respect and consideration for both partners' feelings. Identify your feelings. Why it matters. Understanding your own feelings is crucial for effective communication. How to implement. Reflect on your emotions and the reasons behind them. For instance, I feel vulnerable because this activity is new and unfamiliar to me. Communicate clearly and honestly. Why it matters. Clear and honest communication prevents misunderstandings and builds trust. How to implement. Use straightforward language to explain your feelings. For example, I'm not comfortable with that because it makes me feel vulnerable. Use I statements. Why it matters. I statements focus on your personal experience, reducing defensiveness. How to implement. Frame your explanation with I statements. For example, I feel anxious about this because it's outside my comfort zone. Provide context. Why it matters. Context helps your partner understand the reasons behind your feelings. How to implement. Share relevant background or experiences. For example, I've had past experiences that make me cautious about trying new things without thorough discussion. Invite questions and dialogue. Why it matters. Encouraging dialogue fosters mutual understanding and respect. How to implement. Invite your partner to ask questions or share their thoughts. For example, I'm happy to talk more about this if you have any questions, or if there's anything you'd like to share. Practical steps for explaining your feelings. Identify your feelings. Reflect on your emotions and the reasons behind them. Understand why the request makes you uncomfortable. Communicate clearly and honestly. Use straightforward language to explain your feelings. Be specific about the emotions you are experiencing. Use I statements. Frame your explanations with I statements to avoid blame. For example, I feel anxious about this because it's outside my comfort zone. Provide context. Share any relevant background or experiences. Add depth to your explanation to foster empathy. Invite questions and dialogue. Encourage your partner to ask questions or share their thoughts. Foster a two-way dialogue to ensure mutual understanding. By explaining your feelings and the reasons behind your boundaries, you can foster empathy and understanding in your relationship. This approach ensures that both partners feel heard and respected, strengthening the emotional connection and promoting open and honest communication. Reaffirm affection. Introduction in any intimate relationship. It's essential to balance the expression of personal boundaries with the reassurance of love and affection. When one partner needs to say no to a particular activity, it's crucial to ensure that the refusal does not come across as a rejection of the person. Reaffirming affection helps maintain a strong emotional connection and reassures your partner that your feelings for them remain unchanged. This guide explores the importance of expressing love and affection while setting boundaries, providing practical strategies and examples for doing so effectively. Express love and affection. Reaffirming your love and affection for your partner helps them understand that your refusal of a specific activity is not a rejection of them. This approach maintains the emotional bond and ensures that both partners feel valued and respected. Start with a positive affirmation. Why it matters. Beginning the conversation with a positive affirmation of your love and affection sets a supportive tone. It reassures your partner that your feelings for them are strong and unchanged. How to implement. Start by expressing your love and appreciation. For example, I love you and cherish the time we spend together. Acknowledge their feelings. Why it matters. Acknowledging your partner's feelings shows that you respect and understand their desires. It helps them feel heard and valued. How to implement. Recognize their interest in the activity and validate their feelings. For instance, I understand that you want to try this, and I appreciate you sharing your desires with me. Express your boundaries clearly. Why it matters. Clear communication of your boundaries is essential for maintaining mutual respect. It ensures that your partner knows what you are comfortable with. How to implement. Use straightforward language to express your boundaries. For example, I'm not comfortable with that specific activity. Reaffirm your affection. Why it matters. Reaffirming your affection after stating your boundary reinforces that your refusal is not a personal rejection. It helps maintain the emotional connection and trust. How to implement. After expressing your boundary, reaffirm your love and affection. For example, I love you and enjoy our time together, but I'm not comfortable with that specific activity. Encourage open communication. Why it matters. Encouraging open communication ensures that both partners feel comfortable expressing their feelings and boundaries. It fosters mutual respect and understanding. How to implement. Invite your partner to share their thoughts and feelings about the situation. For example, please feel free to share how you feel about this. I want us to have an open and honest conversation. Example, I love you and enjoy our time together, but I'm not comfortable with that specific activity. In this example, the speaker starts by expressing love and appreciation, acknowledges their partner's feelings, sets a clear boundary, and reaffirms affection. This approach maintains respect and consideration for both partners' feelings. Start with a positive affirmation. Why it matters. Setting a supportive tone reassures your partner of your love. How to implement. Begin by expressing love and appreciation. For example, I love you and cherish the time we spend together. Acknowledge their feelings. Why it matters. Validating your partner's feelings helps them feel heard and respected. How to implement. Recognize their interest and validate their feelings. For instance, I understand that you want to try this, and I appreciate you sharing your desires with me. Express your boundaries clearly. Why it matters. Clear communication ensures mutual respect and understanding. How to implement. Use straightforward language to express your boundaries. For example, I'm not comfortable with that specific activity. Reaffirm your affection. Why it matters. Reaffirming affection reinforces that your refusal is not a personal rejection. How to implement. After stating your boundary, reaffirm your love and affection. For example, I love you and enjoy our time together, but I'm not comfortable with that specific activity. Encourage open communication. Why it matters. Encouraging dialogue ensures mutual respect and understanding. How to implement. Invite your partner to share their thoughts. For example, please feel free to share how you feel about this. I want us to have an open and honest conversation. Practical steps for reaffirming affection. Start with a positive affirmation. Begin by expressing your love and appreciation. Use phrases like, "I love you and cherish the time we spend together." Acknowledge their feelings. Recognize and validate your partner's feelings and desires. Say, "I understand that you want to try this, and I appreciate you sharing your desires with me." Express your boundaries clearly. Use straightforward language to communicate your boundaries. For example, "I'm not comfortable with that specific activity." Reaffirm your affection. Reaffirm your love and appreciation after stating your boundary. Say, "I love you and enjoy our time together, but I'm not comfortable with that specific activity." Encourage open communication. Invite your partner to share their thoughts and feelings. Use phrases like, "Please feel free to share how you feel about this. I want us to have an open and honest conversation." By reaffirming affection while expressing boundaries, couples can maintain a strong emotional connection and ensure that both partners feel valued and respected. This approach fosters a supportive and trusting relationship where communication is open and compassionate. Practice empathy. Introduction in intimate relationships. Practicing empathy is essential for maintaining a deep connection and mutual respect. Empathy involves understanding and acknowledging your partner's feelings and desires, even when you need to set personal boundaries. By showing empathy, you validate your partner's emotions and demonstrate that you care about their perspective. This approach fosters trust and openness, allowing both partners to feel heard and valued. This guide explores the importance of practicing empathy and provides strategies for empathizing with your partner while maintaining your own boundaries. Understand their perspective. Showing empathy involves acknowledging your partner's feelings and desires while also standing firm on your boundaries. This balance ensures that both partners feel respected and understood, fostering a supportive and trusting relationship. Acknowledge your partner's feelings. Why it matters. Acknowledging your partner's feelings shows that you respect and value their emotions. It helps them feel understood and appreciated. How to implement. Start by recognizing their emotions and expressing appreciation for their openness. For example, "I know this is something you're interested in, and I appreciate you sharing it with me." Express your boundaries clearly. Why it matters. Clearly communicating your boundaries ensures that your partner understands your limits. It helps prevent misunderstandings and reinforces mutual respect. How to implement. Use straightforward language to express your boundaries without ambiguity. For example, "I'm not ready for that." Use "I" statements. Why it matters. Using "I" statements helps to express your feelings without blaming or criticizing your partner. It focuses on your personal experience and reduces defensiveness. How to implement. Frame your response with "I" statements to emphasize your own feelings. For example, "I feel uncomfortable with this because it's outside my comfort zone." Show genuine care and support. Why it matters. Demonstrating genuine care and support helps maintain the emotional connection and trust in the relationship. It shows that you care about your partner's feelings while standing firm on your boundaries. How to implement. Offer supportive and caring words to show empathy. For example, "I care about your feelings and want us to be comfortable with each other." Encourage open dialogue. Why it matters. Encouraging open dialogue ensures that both partners feel comfortable expressing their feelings and boundaries. It fosters mutual respect and understanding. How to implement. Invite your partner to share their thoughts and feelings about the situation. For example, "Please feel free to share how you feel about this. I want us to have an open and honest conversation." Example, "I know this is something you're interested in, and I appreciate you sharing it with me, but I'm not ready for that." In this example, the speaker acknowledges their partner's interest, expresses appreciation for their openness, and sets a clear boundary while showing empathy. This approach maintains respect and consideration for both partners' feelings. Acknowledge your partner's feelings. Why it matters. Recognizing your partner's feelings shows respect and appreciation for their emotions. How to implement. Start by acknowledging their interest. For example, "I know this is something you're interested in, and I appreciate you sharing it with me." Express your boundaries clearly. Why it matters. Clear communication of your boundaries ensures mutual respect and understanding. How to implement. Use straightforward language to express your boundaries. For example, I'm not ready for that. Use I statements. Why it matters. I statements focus on your personal experience, reducing defensiveness. How to implement. Frame your response with I statements. For example, I feel uncomfortable with this because it's outside my comfort zone. Show genuine care and support. Why it matters. Demonstrating care and support helps maintain the emotional connection. How to implement. Offer supportive words to show empathy. For example, I care about your feelings and want us to be comfortable with each other. Encourage open dialogue. Why it matters. Encouraging dialogue ensures mutual respect and understanding. How to implement. Invite your partner to share their thoughts. For example, please feel free to share how you feel about this. I want us to have an open and honest conversation. Practical steps for practicing empathy. Acknowledge your partner's feelings. Recognize and validate your partner's emotions. Start with phrases like, I know this is something you're interested in, and I appreciate you sharing it with me. Express your boundaries clearly. Use straightforward language to communicate your boundaries. For example, I'm not ready for that. Use I statements. Frame your response with I statements to avoid blame. For example, I feel uncomfortable with this because it's outside my comfort zone. Show genuine care and support. Demonstrate care and support through your words and actions. Say, I care about your feelings and want us to be comfortable with each other. Encourage open dialogue. Invite your partner to share their thoughts and feelings. Use phrases like, please feel free to share how you feel about this. I want us to have an open and honest conversation. By practicing empathy, couples can navigate differences in desires and boundaries with compassion and respect. This approach ensures that both partners feel valued and understood, fostering a supportive and trusting relationship where open and honest communication thrives.